we reacted against something that bothered us and that we considered was unfair. Suddenly we saw an act of injustice towards another person and it bothered us, or worse, it's an injustice they committed against us and it annoyed us and we reacted. But when we react, we do not measure our words, we do not measure our actions, and we end up hurting more or reacting in a more unpleasant way than the evil they did to us. This is important for us to meditate on because the end does not justify the means. We believe that condemning a bad action of others because others did it gives us the authority to be able to condemn it. And in a worse way, before measuring others, it is important that we learn to measure what is inside our heart. Jesus explained it this way: with the same rod that you measure, you will be measured. Jesus also taught us that before seeing what is in the other person, which is not right, let's look at what is inside of us that is not right. Because we are easy to condemn or to judge, to extend our hand with our finger and say, is that you did this and you did the other. Is that you failed. But when we tell someone that they failed, we are asking ourselves, how much did we fail? Jesus expressed it this way: why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eyes and pay no attention to the plank in your own eyes? We need to learn to react with a healthy heart. And the only way to have a healthy heart is, one, having Christ in our heart to make us see what is not right in us. And we can renounce that. And we can be transformed by God, be changed by the Lord. Otherwise, all the time, we will be looking for someone to condemn. Every time we'll be looking for someone to judge. How many times have you experienced a complicated situation? And the first thing that comes to your mind is, who are you going to blame? We had a difficult day at work and we get home and take it out on our children, on our family. Even with the dog of the house, we retaliate. And we are always looking for the fall of someone to be able to unload the frustration and perhaps the anger that we have treasured in our heart and that we have not let go before God, that bitterness, that resentment from the past that still remains there, that are becoming like a very heavy burden. And the tremendous thing is that everyone is realizing your actions. And you can declare to the world that we do not agree with something. That's fine. But what is the intention of our heart? What is the intention with which we do things? We already saw the plank that is in our eye before telling others they are not doing things right. What is the intention of the heart when we tell someone that they are not doing things well? What is our intention? Feel good because we told them and he did not condemn that person because we consider that they are more sinful than I, simply because he does not sin like me, or my intention is for that person to be changed and avoid a tragic end. We must think about that. But when it is not like that, we will react violently. And the Bible already teaches us about that because it talks to us about the heart and says that what contaminates man is what is in his heart. And according to how our heart is, that way we are going to think. And that way we are going to see. And we are going to have a perspective on things. And that way we are going to talk. And we go to act. If your heart is hurting, when you see someone looking at you and talking to another person looking at you, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? They are talking about me. And if they laugh and look at you, you say, this is over. Why do you consider it like this? Why are they talking about you? And it turns out that inadvertently they turned their eyes and saw you and began to laugh. But what were they talking about? It seems that we had a delirium of persecution. Or when you know that you did something that was not right, and they call you and tell you, I need to talk to you. We go armed. We think that we are going to say, and we begin to meditate, well, if they tell me this, I am going to answer them like this. If they try to reincriminate me, this is what I will tell them. I have to change it. Then I'm going to bring out your clothes. I'm going to take out your clothes out into the sun, because this one was hidden. And he cannot, or she cannot advise me if he does not change his life first. Now, we go with this thought in our mind, predisposed to what they are going to tell us. And we carry 2 stones in the hand, and in the suitcase full of stones too. Yes, there are injustice. Yes, people make mistakes. Yes, it is not right how others react. Of course, you are right. Suddenly you are right about something that someone did. Of course, yes, it is not bad to be right. But the question is, how are we going to react? Let's never forget that if I am going to knock on someone's door to judge them, later someone will knock on my door to judge me. What I judge in others is the same as Jesus taught. With the same rod that you measure, you will be measured. Now, is it wrong to exercise judgment? Is it wrong to reprimand someone? Is it wrong to tell someone that is not right? It is not wrong. The question is how you do it. And let's not go behind the excuse. It's that the truth hurts. I better not say anything because the truth hurts. Other time I say something, they get upset. You haven't thought that maybe it's not because of what you said they got upset, but in the way you said it. What was your intention when you said it? Humiliating? Believing yourself more important? Challenging others? Or disregarding the condition of others? The problem is there in the heart. Perhaps we do not measure ourselves because we reach a point where we receive so much during the day and we empty it at home or with the first one that comes our way. Pastor, but what is the solution to that? God. Jesus came back. He said, come to me, those of you who are worked and loaded, and I will make you rest. In other words, you feel tired, frustrated. You have anger inside because you have realized that there are things that are not right, and they continue to do it. And people do not change because come to me, pray, and find rest in God. My beloved friends, perhaps what your eyes see will not change for a long time. We cannot change people, and each one has a different way of thinking. As they say, each head is a world, but you know we can mark the difference. And I think it will help a lot, starting with us. First step, have the humility to recognize before God that we are sinners, that we fail. And before telling another that he is a gossiper because he started talking about us, recognizing that before we realize that that person is talking about us, we talked about 10 more yesterday. That before telling another that we are doing with me is unfair, let us recognize before God that we have been 7 times more unfair with others. This makes me remember, precisely speaking of this, Jesus sits and he begins to preach the word, and he speaks to them through a medium that they could understand. He tells them through a story. This is called a parable. And he tells them, once upon a time, there was a very wealthy man, a man who had a very good position. He had a servant. This servant owed him, and I'm going to put it in your local currency. This servant owed him about $200. So he called him to charge him. He was going through a crisis at home, so he didn't have the money. He begged and told him, forgive my debt, or forgive me another term to pay, because the situation had been complicated. He even cried in front of him. And well, that gentleman moved with mercy and told him, "Oh well, that's fine. It's a small debt. Don't worry. Your debt is canceled." The man left there happy because he had forgiven his debt. And he went home and began to do accounts and to say, well, I no longer owe this. They already forgave my debt. And he took out a list. And in that list, he had several people who owed him money. He said, well, now, since I no longer have to pay, this is going to stay with me. He went to the first on the list and went to look for him. And when he found him, he told him, I need you to pay me the debt that you owe me. But Lord, you know, now the situation has been, he answered him, interrupting him and answered him, here it appears that you owe me $80, so I need you to pay me. It is necessary. He kneeled down and said, forgive me, I don't have it. Or give me the opportunity. Give me another space to pay you. And that man hardened his heart. He did not remember that he had already been forgiven. He simply told him, I need my money. He looked for the police and they took him to jail. Another who was passing by noticed the event, and he meditated in his heart, saying, perhaps this was not the one that my master forgave for $200, and now he is not able to forgive for $80. Then he went to his master and explained everything that he had seen. This wealthy and well-placed man called that servant again and told him, I forgave your debt because you did not have mercy as I had with you. You did not forgive the one with the smaller debt. Now you will have to pay what you owe with interest. And he was sent to jail. Tremendous truth. Just so that we understand, who is fair on earth? No one. Now, with this, I am not justifying the one who steals. With this, I'm not justifying the one who misuses the powers he has. No, I am showing you the way so that your load is not so heavy and you can let go of it, because God is willing to help you. But as long as you charge worth the redundancy, that every heavy load, you will have a desire to take revenge. And every time something happens to you, you are going to react badly. You are killing your wife, your husband, your children, your family. You are ceasing to give thanks and enjoy each morning that the Lord gives you. So please, do not be forewarned. The Lord, our Father, is waiting for you. Let yourself be found by the Father and open your heart. Confess that before others you failed twice. And the only one that can forgive us is God. And that's called true forgiveness. He can restore you. He can lift you up. And He can give you a new life. Take your burdens. And then now begin to understand the importance of knowing how to live what is inside us. Let's start to reflect and ask God, our Father. You know our heart, our lying down and our getting up. There are things that we cannot hide from you. We ask for your forgiveness. Forgive us, because it is enough to go outside and see that someone does something wrong and get up and express wrong words and curse. And we do not know that we are still binding ourselves with all the words that come out of our mouth. Forgive us. Heal our heart. We urgently need to be healed, to be tolerant, to receive from your love and your power to express it to others. Start with me today. In the name of Jesus. Amen. This was a translation from your pastor and friend, Elias Hoyos. He spoke to you. Remember that God always arrives just in time. Always remember that you can enter our channel on YouTube. Type in Devotionals Just in Time and click on subscribe. Blessings.